I reached new levels of unemployment never before seen, which means I get a rare and unique opportunity to hyperfixate on a game that hasn't even released yet. So one more time, to justify spending 6 hours a day playing this garbage, I am making a video on it. This time a wish list. I want to talk about things that I want to see in the future, either before release or on full release. Anyway, let's get into it. First is jungle rework. This is a big one and it's probably not coming soon, but we desperately need it before full release. Deadlock is a very unique game that does a lot of things in a very fun way. You know how its items work, the characters, the movement and other mechanics. It really stands out, but farming jungle camps is simply mind-numbingly boring. Creeps don't have any interesting attacks or unique effects they can give you. It's just a bunch of boxes with souls that you have to shoot, which doesn't work with how creative a lot of other things in this game are. And also, I know we have a weird setting here. We have demons, unicorns, vampires, robots, a mole, a frog-obsessed fanatic with daddy issues, a guy on a mole, but who the fuck is this?
Stare at me like that for one more second, big guy, see what happens.
I know it's placeholders, but I am already tired of seeing those Half-Life 1-esque looking motherfuckers. So hopefully whenever jungle gets updated, they get a cooler look, because after their amazing rework of the bases, my expectations are quite high. So what do I want to see in a rework like that, besides just different models? One, I hope that every camp will have unique minions, that all have different attacks, animations and potentially unique effects they could apply to you. That would be awesome. Maybe we could even get unique properties from them. You know how Doom from Dota can eat a jungle creep and get their ability? I'm not asking for something exactly like that, but it would be cool if you could get different buffs after using Cultist Sacrifice depending on which type of minion you ate. I also think the structure of the jungle could change a bit too, to make it more interesting to both farm and fight there. Maybe some room would have spikes coming out of walls or some unusual terrain, or maybe we could have a constantly moving camp of minions or something similar. I know I'm just throwing ideas at the wall and it's not like I've put much thought into that, but something along those lines would be very cool in my opinion. Another thing that has to go is this fucking slug. Mid-boss needs a complete rework, and not just its model, which I'm pretty sure was based on a pit worm from opposing forces. I think current mid-boss is way too valuable. If your team can kill it, you get 9 lives total, which pretty much guarantees a fight win if your guys are not drooling on themselves. I do want to say I really like to have an objective this valuable on the map. It often makes for some of the coolest moments when both teams have to commit for a fight in the pit and risk it all because they know getting the rejuves here basically guarantees the win. But what happens most of the time is one team gets the mid-boss absolutely safely after they wiped the enemy team, or at least got a couple of their most problematic characters out. So then they just go to the pit and get the most important objective in the game for free. So now whoever is playing against them has to sit in their spawn and watch how everything in their jungle gets wiped before enemies come to end the game, because overextending even a bit is just suicide. I think Valve likes to have mid-boss as this kill confirm button. They want Deadlock games to be fast-paced, around 25 or 30 minutes, so having something that can help to end the game quickly in case one team gained a significant lead makes sense. But I at least hope they can make this boss feel more like a fucking threat and actually make fighting in a pit riskier. For now it's just an eye shooting a laser beam at you, which does basically no damage. So instead it would be cool if this boss had multiple different attacks and maybe even multiple phases. I think the boss doing some sort of a melee attack that you have to parry could be cool, especially considering that you have to stand in the pit to deal damage. I imagine that could create some very bizarre scenarios, and I want mid-boss to actually feel like a raid that your team really has to commit to. Since we are on the topic of map activity, I would potentially like to see some urn changes. I will say I love the urn. It's one of my favorite things about Deadlock. It's a great map activity that can force interesting fights and help your team come back into the game if you are behind. And they made some big adjustments to it pretty recently. Basically, the way it works now is you can pick up the urn, which silences you and doesn't let you shoot your gun or parry, and if someone punches you, even with a light melee, you will drop the urn. However, if you manage to get to the deposit location, you instantly put the urn and get your souls. I think it's a step in the right direction, making the urn run this sort of cat and mouse chase. but I hope they come up with more mechanics for the Urn later. There is an interesting YouTube video where someone made a proof of concept Urn football mechanic, where you can basically kick it around the map, and while I do think it looks fun, it might be a bit too much in any sort of coordinated play that would make it too easy to get the Urn to its deposit location. But I hope they will do some experiments like this with the Urn while the game is still in closed beta. Alright, the gameplay of Deadlock is cool and all, but what I need ASAP is character models rework, because some characters desperately need it. I swear to God, I don't play some characters that I find interesting just because of how shit their model is. Prime example is Yamato, who looks like that one American Dead character. Her model is all the way back from Neon Prime. If you don't know, that's what Deadlock used to be before they completely changed the direction. And Neon Prime was futuristic. Yamato back then was supposed to be an alien who became a big fan of Eastern culture on Earth, so basically an alien whip. Rework of her model has been confirmed a while ago, and there are some official concept arts shared by devs on Discord, and almost all of them are cool as fuck in my opinion, and I can't wait to see it in game. This one is my personal favorite. I love the sword and her feet here, and especially the hair looks cool as fuck. Great Talon is another character who desperately needs a new model. I mean, just look at him. The colors on his outfit are atrocious, and the bow looks like a Nerf gun. His animations are also outdated as hell. I just hate the way he looks. Shiv's model is cool, I don't hate it, but it is from Neon Prime as well, and I think they have to do something with his rage, because currently his appearance barely changes when you fill up rage meter, and for a character who has a demon sitting inside him, they could come up with something better, and that would also be great for visual clarity when you play against him. Viscous is confirmed to have a redesign, but I honestly quite like Viscous' current model. I think he looks like a pile of goo, and that's fitting, but he does have the same gun model as Kelvin, so at least that needs a change, I suppose. They also confirmed that Bebop is getting a reworked model, but I honestly don't think he needs one. Even though this model is from Neon Prime, I quite like that steampunky look he has, so maybe some minor tweaks would be enough. Aside from reworks of base models, I am quite excited to see what they are going to do with cosmetics. And I have seen some people speculate that they won't add any skins, but let's be real, when the game releases it will most likely be free to play with a battle pass, simply because it's the most profitable model currently. And it's also Valve we are talking about. And even though I'm a big fan of their games and products, they did also introduce kids to gambling, so... Obviously we have great mods right now, but I'm personally not the biggest fan of modded models, and I like playing with base ones. But if you want, you can play around with them for now, before they most likely remove them on full release, which is a bit unfortunate, and I will miss some amazing mods like Naked Page. So considering that cosmetics will be in the game, I was thinking about what could they do with them. One option, the simplest one, is to make something similar to most other games, like Overwatch, where you just have a skin for a character that you can get and it will change their outfit, gun and appearance in general. However, I think a more fun option would be to make something more similar to the Finals or Dota, where you can get different parts of outfits and accessories for your character and mix them up, creating your own sort of loadout. Also similar to Team Fortress 2, I guess. So if we take Ram for example, you could get a different hat for him, a different sweater, a different pillow and candle. I think that could be fun, but maybe harder to implement. I am also worried about the way they are going to treat monetization. Please don't give us cases or loot boxes or whatever the fuck, Valve. I promise I will spend money on this game if you don't do that. But enough about looks and pretty stuff. No more laughs and giggles. It's time to talk about something serious. Deadlock team, I need Aghanim's scepter. I need its alternative in Deadlock. If you don't know, Aghanim is an item from Dota which grants each hero one or multiple unique enhancements, ranging from ability upgrades to hero changes and sometimes even new abilities, alongside stat bonuses. It's an item that works differently for each character, changing their kit or adding something new to it, which is awesome, and it is easily my favorite item in Dota. I understand that implementing something like this could take a long time, but I hope that they are planning on making something like this for Deadlock. Here are some of my absurd ideas of what ability changes this item could give. For Infernus, if he procs Afterburn on someone, they will leave a fire trail, same as from his dash ability, maybe for a short duration like 2 seconds or something. Lash says in his voice lines that he used to do an uppercut before Bebop started doing it. I think it would be really fun if Aghanim gave him an uppercut. What if Viscus could use his cube on enemies and it would still heal them and cleanse all the negative effects, but they have to stay in the cube for the entire duration. All of those ideas are just me coming up with random bullshit and not thinking about balance. But I really hope that one day we get this game-changing item, and if you have ideas for what it could potentially do on other characters, leave them in the comments. There is one more thing that you have to take into account if you want to add this item. Which item category it falls into. Is it a gun item, is it a spirit item, or is it green? The most logical answer I think would be green, because if you make it gun or a spirit, it's going to be problematic to use it on some characters. Like, you probably wouldn't want to invest 6400 souls into a gun item as page or something, unless you are one of those unhinged melee page players. Last but least, I want to see a red character in the game. Ever since I saw that fan-made concept of a red king character, I can't stop thinking about that. It fits the game perfectly. I mean, Deadlock is happening in the streets of New York, yet we don't see any reds. That's simply absurd. Some people were speculating that mousetraps in the hub are possibly hinting at something like that, but I can't say that's good enough evidence for now. But I know that developers read forums and Reddit, so hopefully they will make something with this idea. Even though I think, unlike all the other things I listed, this one has the smallest chance of actually coming to the game. If we do get Red King, he needs to have an ability that somehow works with controlling swarms of reds and something with cheese. Maybe like a huge cheese wheel that he can send rolling in front of him or something. I don't actually know what they could do with fucking cheese. That's it. I will be making more videos on Deadlock in the future as well as other games, so do whatever you want with this information. You are a functioning human being and I am a voice inside your head.